हाय एवरीबॉडी, वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल। और आज मैं आपके लिए लेके आई हूँ मेरी सबसे नई कलेक्शन, मेरी कलेक्शन में सबसे नया एडिशन विच इज़ दिस द गीता ऑरेकल डेक। ओके, सो आई एम गोना ओपन इट एंड शो इट टू यू नाउ, all the cards. So here it is. These are the beautiful cards. Let me open them. Okay, so here are the cards. You can see the quality of cards are very good. एंड जितने भी गीता के श्लोक्स हैं वो सब पीछे यहाँ पर लिखे हुए हैं, द मीनिंग्स श्लोक के। यू कैन सी सबसे पहले श्लोक हमारा संस्कृत में लिखा हुआ है, उसके बाद उसको इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट किया है। एंड नो, पहले संस्कृत में लिखा है, उसके बाद इंग्लिश में संस्कृत में लिखा है, उसके बाद उसको इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट किया। उसका जो मीनिंग है, मीनिंग ऑफ द कार्ड इज ट्रांसलेटेड इन इंग्लिश। सो दीज आर इन टोटल 68 cards and beautiful deck. So I'm going to read it one by one. So सबसे पहले we have sacrifice. Let's see what the guidance is. It says, any action that is not performed as a sacrifice to God is a source of bondage to this material world. Therefore, carry out your prescribed duties as a sacrifice, remaining unattached to the result. So this is sacrifice. गणेश जी की ब्यूटीफुल सी पिक्चर बनी है इसमें। नेक्स्ट वी हैव प्रिटेंडर्स। ओके, लेट्स सी व्हाट द श्लोक इज। सो द श्लोक तो मैं ऑब्वियसली नहीं पढ़ सकती, मुझे संस्कृत नहीं आती, बट आई कैन रीड द ट्रांसलेशन। सो द ट्रांसलेशन सेज, those who restrain the working senses but continue to dwell on senses objects delude themselves and are called pretenders. Okay. Next we have sacrificial offerings, and it says, the pious eat only the remnants of sacrificial offerings and so are freed from all sinful reaction. The wicked people who cook only for themselves are nothing but sin. Next we have leadership, and it says, whatever a great man does, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. Next we have false ego, and the card says, bewildered spirit souls, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, think themselves to be the doer of activities which are in actuality carried out by nature. Next we have encouragement, and the card says, let not the wise disturb the minds of the ignorant who are attached to fruitive work. They should not be discouraged from working but encouraged to work with the spirit of devotion. Next we have our enemy, and this says, Arjuna asked, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? Krishna replied, it is lust alone which springs from contact with the mode of passion and is then transformed to anger. It is the mighty, all-devouring source of sin and the true enemy of this world. Next we have covered soul, and it says, as fire is covered by smoke, as mirror is covered by dust, or as the embryo is covered by the womb, similarly the living being is covered by different layers of lust. Then we have the burning fire, and the card says, one's pure consciousness is covered by the eternal enemy, lust, which takes many forms and burns like an insatiable fire. Then we have intelligence, माँ सरस्वती की फोटो है इसमें, and the card says, the senses are superior to matter, mind is higher than the senses, and higher than the mind is intelligence, but the soul is higher still. Then we have conquering lust, and the card says, knowledge the self, sorry, it's not knowledge, it says knowing the self to be transcendental to the intelligence, One should control the lower self by the higher self, and thus, by spiritual strength, defeat this elusive enemy known as lust. Then we have grief. Bhishma Pitama wala scene bana is card mein. And the card says, the blessed Lord said, you are mourning when there is no cause to lament, and yet you speak words that seem to be wise. The truly wise lament neither for the living nor the dead. Hanumanji. Individuality. And the card says, at no time did I not exist, nor you, nor any of these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. Then we have transmigration, and the card says, as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. Such a change does not disturb the minds of those who know the truth. Then we have tolerance. Sorry. And the card says, the temporary appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance over time are like the coming and going of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Then we have eternal soul, and the card says, for the soul there is neither birth nor death. The soul that is will never cease to be. It is unborn, eternal, ever existing, underlying and primeval. It is not slain when the body is slain. Then we have changing bodies, and the card says, as a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and used ones. Then we have rebirth, and the card says, for one who is born, death is certain. For one who has died, birth is certain. Since you cannot avoid either fate, you should not lament. Then we have infamy, and the card says, if you abandon your duty, all will speak endlessly of your shameful deed. And for the one who has been honored, dishonor is worse than death. Then we have overcoming fear, and the card says, no effort on the yoga path is ever lost, nor can any obstacle ever hold one back forever. Just a little progress on this path can protect one from the greatest fear. Then we have determination, and the card says, those two attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence are enchanted by the spiritual promises of such things. They can never find the resolute determination to perfect their spiritual life. Then we have beyond scripture. बहुत ब्यूटीफुल सी पिक है इसमें भगवान विष्णु और माँ लक्ष्मी की. Let's see what the card says. The card says, whatever purposes are served by a small pond are achieved by the great reservoirs of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas are accomplished by one who knows God. Then we have success in yoga. And let's see what the card says. It says, be steadfast in yoga. O Arjuna, perform your duty without attachment, remaining equal to success or failure. Such equanimity of mind is called yoga. Then we have forest of delusion. माँ की photo है इसमें भी. You can see a beautiful picture. Forest of delusion, and the card says, when your intelligence has passed beyond the dense forest of confusion, you shall become indifferent to all scriptural injunctions in the past or the future. Then we have sense control, and the card says, one who is able to withdraw the senses from their objects like a tortoise drawing its limbs within its shell is firmly established in wisdom. Then we have fall from grace, And the card says, one who contemplates the sense objects, one who contemplates the sense objects develops an attachment for them. From attachment develops lust, and from lust anger arises. From anger confusion is born. Confusion results in the loss of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one again falls into material consciousness. Then we have winds of desire. And the card says, as a boat on the water is swept away by strong wind and thrown off course, even one of the senses on which the mind focuses can carry away one's intelligence. Then we have the sage. And the card says, what is night of all creatures is the time of awakening for the self-controlled, and the time of awakening for all beings in night for the introspective sage. Then we have divine descent. And the card says, whenever and wherever there is a decline of religious practice in the world and wickedness becoming predominant at that time I descend myself in order to deliver the pious and the annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the sacred law. I appear every age. God's reciprocation. And the card says, I reciprocate with all beings in accordance to the way that they surrender to me. Everyone follows my path in all respects. Then we have approaching Guru. And the card says, just learn the truth. Approach a Guru with humility. Inquire from them submissively and render service. The self-realized can impart transcendental knowledge, for they have seen reality. Doubting soul. And the card says, but the ignorant and faithless person who doubts the truth will forever be lost. The doubting soul is happy neither in this life or the next. Then we have wisdom. The card says, when one is illuminated with the wisdom by which nescience is destroyed, then this knowledge lights up all things just as the sun reveals the world at dawn. Then we have equal vision. And the card says, by virtue of transcendental knowledge, the wise see the same divine truth in all beings, from the wise and gentle priest to the cow, the elephant, a dog, or even the outcast dog eater. Then we have wombs of misery. And the card says, the pleasures that derive from contact with senses objects are the wombs of misery. They have both a beginning and an end, and thus the wise take no delight in them. Then we have friend or enemy. Okay, and the card says, for one who has controlled the mind, it is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, it remains the greatest enemy. Maintaining balance. Okay, and let's see what the card says. So the card says, one can have no success in yoga if one eats too much or eats too little. Nor can one be successful if one sleeps too much or does not sleep enough. Then we have this beautiful card, calm meditation, and it says, as a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the yogi whose mind is focused remains always steady in meditation on the transcendent self. Then we have seeing God. And the card says, those who see me in all things and all things in me are never lost to me, nor am I ever lost to them. The restless mind. And the card says, So the card says the yoga practitioner whose mind is unbridled can never attain self realization. Only one who has mastered the self and who strives by right means is assured of success. Then we have best of yogis, and the card says of all yogis, the one who filled with faith, his entire being given over to me, is the most intimately united with me and is the best of all. Rare souls. And the card says, on many thousands of men, one will attempt to reach perfection. And of the few who reach this goal, only a rare soul will perhaps know me as I am. Then we have material elements. And the card says, my material nature is made up of 8 separate energies: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Pearls on a thread. And the card says, know for certain that whatever is found in the creation arises out of a combination of my material and spiritual energies. I am the origin and dissolution of all. There is nothing beyond me, Arjuna. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Then we have the sacred Om. And it says, I am the fresh taste of water, the light of the sun and moon. I am the sacred syllable Om in Vedic mantras, the sound in ether, and the ability in man. This is it. Now we have seed of creation. Beautiful card. And the card says, I am the original fragrance of the earth. I am the heat in fire. I am the life in all living things. I am the ascetic's inner spiritual fire. Know me to be the seed of all creation, original and eternal. I am the intelligence of the intelligent and the effulgence of all great and powerful persons. I'm sorry, मेरी vocabulary weak है, मैं pronunciation नहीं कर रही होंगी ठीक इन words की, so please excuse me. Then we have great souls. This is so cute how this cow is sitting with Kana. Okay. After innumerable births and deaths, those who are wise surrender unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that exists. Such great souls are very rare. Then we have all-knowing one. And the card says, I know all beings in the creation as they were in the past, as they are now, and as they shall one day come to be. Yet not one of them knows me in full. O Arjuna, all living entities are born into illusion, overcome by the duality of desire and hate. Then we have the time of death. It says, at the time of death, whoever relinquishes his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. Then we have higher realms. And the card says, from the highest sphere in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery where birth and death takes place. But whoever joins me in my abode is never born again, O son of Kunti. Then we have secret of secrets. And it says, this knowledge is the king of education, the rarest of all secrets and the purest knowledge, because it gives direct perception of the self-realization. It is the perfection of religion. It is eternal and joyfully performed. Now we have protection. And the card says, those who worship me with devotion, meditation on my transcendental form, For them, I carry what they lack and preserve what they have, both materially and spiritually. Then we have offerings of devotion, and the card says, if one offers me with love and devotion a flower, fruit, a leaf, or even water, I accept it. Whatever you do or eat, whatever you offer or give away, whatever austerities, auster, austerities, whatever austerities you perform, do as an offering unto me. Then we have the source of all. This is the card, a very beautiful one. And it says, I am the source of spiritual and material universe, for everything emanates from me. I am the source of all spiritual and material universe, for everything emanates from me. Knowing this, the wise engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Then we have pure devotees. And the card says, the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are surrendered to me, and they derive great satisfaction and joy, enlightening one another and speaking about me. Then we have lamp of knowledge, and the card says, to those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the intelligence by which they can attain me out of compassion for them. Dwelling in the hearts, I destroy the darkness of ignorance with the lamp of knowledge. Then we have immovable Himalayas. And the card says, on the great seers, I am Bhrigu of words. I am the syllable Om of sacrifices. I am a jap, the silent chanting of the holy names. And among movable things, I am the Himalaya mountains. Then we have the destroyer, and the card says, I am death, destroyer of all. I am the source of all things yet to be. Of woman, I am fame, prosperity, speech, memory, intelligence, faithfulness, and patience. Then we have spark of splendor, and the card says, know that all beautiful, glorious, and mighty creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Conscious entity, and the card says, those whose minds are enchanted by sense of enjoyment and material opulence never find the resolute determination to practice spiritual life. Then we have 3 modes, and the card says, there are 3 modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Though the living being is imperishable, he is bound in the body by the 3 modes. Then we have the super soul, Bhagwan Vishnu. And the card says, I reside in every heart. From me alone come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. I am to be known by all Vedas. I am the author of the Vedanta, and I alone know the Vedas. Then we have gates to hell. Okay. And the card says, there are 3 gates that open the way to hell and the degradation of the soul: lust, anger, and greed. Avoid these 3 at all cost, O Arjuna. Then we have mode of goodness. And the card says, happiness is the mode of goodness. May in the beginning seem like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, for it is born out of the peace of self-realization. Then we have good qualities, and the card says, the Brahmin's work is born of his nature and qualities: peacefulness, self-control, asceticism, forgiveness, honesty, learning, wisdom, and a firm faith in the Supreme Lord. Then we have true leaders, and the card says, heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities by which the Kshatriya work. Then we have beyond religion. It says, think of me always, be my devotee, sacrifice to me, and bow down to me. Do this and you will come to me. I promise you this truth. For you are dear to me. Give up all other duties and varieties of religion and simply surrender to me. I shall deliver you from all sin, so have no fear. And the last card is Master of Mystics. See. And what the card says is, wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will always be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. I hold this to be true. This was the last card. Okay, so this is a great deck, and I'll be taking out daily guidance from this deck क्योंकि मुझे पसंद है और गीता के श्लोक्स आपको पढ़ने के लिए मिलेंगे डेली गाइडेंस में. अपनी लाइफ में ये चीज़ें ये नॉलेज को इंक्लूड कर सकते हैं. सो इट्स अ थम्स अप, ग्रेट डेक. I'll see you in the next video.